Oh, there we are. I was just sitting around hanging out looking at dry flies, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I guess we should start this thing. All right, happy Thursday, everybody. Either or Thursday, hanging out in the Arctic Air studios. Hope your air is Arctic going into the weekend. If not, call the bear. And of course, we're brought to you by the wonderful people at Premier Sportsplex. The game is on after school activities, ready to go for your kids. And Abuelos, it doesn't have to be Taco Tuesday. It can be Enchilada Thursday or Taco Thursday. You get the idea. Queso Thursday. Looks like we got everybody rolling tonight. We'll let you guys get in the early arrivals. You know what to do. You give us hearts. You give us thumbs up. Let us know the audio is good. The video is good and everything else. Indeed, Craig, the talking box is on. Val making his way in. Everybody getting in here on the Twitter Live and on Facebook Live tonight using the United Supermarkets text line, 806-770-197. Was at United Supermarkets earlier today, 114th and Slide Road. If you see me at your local United, be sure and say hi. All right, so yeah, use that text line if you are on Twitter Live or on YouTube Live. And hey, even if you're on Facebook, you can still use it. We're not gonna stop you from doing that. But that's the easiest way to get your comments and thoughts heard here on an Either Or Thursday. Damon jumping in, Matthew jumping in. We'll let a few more folks get in before we get going down the road here on Either Or Thursday, where I know you started your day on the website, right? You already know we're going to be talking about the Cowboys and the Red Raiders. You know that, the desperation of the ACC, and then the the pearl clutching of the Longhorns. Got my date set for Red River? No, I did not. I do not have those dates set yet. I'm sure we'll be there soon. Legendary radio host Chad Hasty from Lubbock will be there over Labor Day, I believe. So anybody who's going to be up there, he'll be hanging out with our friends at Lifts West. Let's do it in 3, in 2. Good evening, West Texans, all you good, fine, friendly folks out there who wish you were. I'm Ryan Hyatt, DRaiderland.com. That's where you find everything from our question of the day, original columns, archives, this show, you name it, we got it for you there. Pretty soon, Raiderland Rewind coming back, our post-game show following every Texas Tech football game. So we're getting excited about that. Coming to you from the Arctic Air studios today, veteran-owned Shane Templin and his crew right here in the Hubaplex. CallTheBear.com if your air is not Arctic, and if your air is too Arctic here in a few months, you definitely need to call the Bear. We're brought to you by Abuelos, Mexican food restaurant, Lubbock, Landmark, 82nd and Quaker. Right now, free delivery. You got the app? Use the app. You can go online, Abuelos.com, do that. Free delivery till September 1st. And we mentioned Premier Sportsplex, Curry Blackwell, and the gang, multiple locations in the Hubaplex. Great after-school activities for your kids there in Lubbock. So check it out. If you're looking for some cool, fun activities after school, you need to talk to Premier Sportsplex. Great Facebook page, too. A ton of information on their webpage, but their Facebook page, very good as well. All right, that's the lay of the land today. We are talking Either Or Thursday. Every Thursday, black and white question. Life usually not black and white. It is on Thursdays, and that's why you use the United Supermarkets text line today at 806-772-0197 if you're on Twitter Live and if you're on YouTube Live, to tell us what is more likely. Which scenario is more likely in your opinion? Either Texas Tech football plays in the Big 12 championship game or the Dallas Cowboys play in the Super Bowl. Which one do you believe is more likely? An NFC that I believe is imminently gettable. I do not think that the Eagles will have the trip they had last year. We talk about TCU and the Big 12 having a smooth trip last year, and a lot of things went their way. A lot of things went the Eagles' way last year. The Niners are really good. Bosa will be there. He'll be fine. But to Brock Purdy really? I mean, that's going to be the guy. Okay, all right. New Orleans is intriguing to me. The NFC is winnable. The Cowboys have enough talent. Although I do want to see the run game this year. But the question is not necessarily Cowboys, will they go to the Super Bowl? What is more likely in your opinion? What is the more likely thing to happen? That the Cowboys make the Super Bowl or Texas Tech plays in the Big 12 title game? Obviously, Tech has fewer teams to get through if you just want to use a mathematical equation that mathematically Texas Tech, you could make the argument that it's a more likely scenario, even a bad Texas Tech team, which they're not going to be. So which one do you think and why? We have that. We have everybody keeps telling me the ACC is going to take Cal and Stanford and SMU, but they don't do it. And every day I keep hearing they're really close and that nothing happens. They know the math. They know the deal. They're still trying to flip a team, whether that's NC State or who it is. It's not going to be Florida State from what we're hearing. So who's it going to be? The desperation of all involved, really, in the ACC and everything else, fun to watch. Yeah, as I understood it, there would be no math involved. And then Brett Yormark's comments yesterday still reverberating around Longhorn land, and the pearl clutching is epic. It's fun to watch, and I'm absolutely here for it. And Brett Yormark, Stone Cold Killer, he knows exactly what he's doing. It's fun. Any other questions, comments? Fire away. We're going to hang out as long as it's cool. We're having fun. So get on the United Supermarkets text line, 806-772-0197. Damon says Tech in the Big 12 championship game by far he thinks is more likely. Why do you think that? Stacy says, I don't see the Cowboys taking out the Niners to make a Super Bowl. Is it the Niners you think they have to take out? Well, obviously, Stacy says take out the Niners, so then that means that Stacy thinks that the Niners are going to the Super Bowl. Or just that you can't get past the Niners may not get to the Super Bowl. Cowboys have Dak. That is a negative, says John. I don't think it's a negative. I just don't think it's a huge positive upside. Dak Prescott, Tony Romo are the exact same quarterback, slightly better than average NFL quarterbacks who are asked by their franchise to be generationally great talents in order to overcome the rest of the organization. Doesn't work. I agree with Michael, by the way. I didn't think there would be math involved. Cal and Stanford playing for free. Yeah, SMU literally, according to reports saying they will take for 7 years zero money. They just want to be in the ACC. Cal and Stanford obviously willing to take less money. And that's the only, they can't come in at a full share in order to make the money work for the ACC. We know that much to be true. Now, do we believe the reports that say the ACC automatically gets $72 million if 3 teams are brought in? I don't believe that, because they're not bringing in 3 legitimate teams. They're bringing in 2 moderately legitimate teams from the Pac-12, and SMU is not a legitimate team. I don't buy that automatic number. I think that $72 million you're seeing thrown around would be if they were bringing in 3 definite big-time Power 5 schools from another legitimate conference. That's not the case now. Matt says Tech in the title game. Dak's still quarterback for Dallas, so no on them. Do you think Dak's better than Brock Purdy? Is Dak better than Jalen Hurts? Tech in the Big 12 championship game. Tech culture has changed. Cowboys culture hasn't in the past 28 years. Yeah. Helmet sticker on a Thursday for Yormark. Yeah, he can get another one next week. Welcome in, Stan. We're glad you're watching. Andrea, glad you're watching. 2 words, Mike McCarthy. Yeah. I mean, he did manage to get a Super Bowl out of Aaron Rodgers, a Super Bowl. And I can say this as a Green Bay Packer fan during the time frame from the mid-'90s, on to whatever, until fairly recently. It is a gross failing of that franchise that with Favre and Rodgers, as long as you had them, you only got 2 championships out of that. That's a gross failing by that franchise. Still during the same time frame, 2 more than Jerry Jones has acquired. John, I can hear all of the UT fans saying the Big 12 will be against them and they will be cheated. Yeah, they're already lining up to say that. That's already what they're saying. The pearl clutching has already begun. I mean, they want to file lawsuits. They want to get the governor involved. They want to put an end to this. I mean, we've run this league since its inception. We've run teams out of this league, and you're telling us that we may not get every break. You're telling us that the commissioner is rooting for a team that's going to stay in the Big 12, and the commissioner of the league that we said we're leaving and we tried to kill multiple times is going to be against us and going to cheat us. By the way, he didn't say he was going to cheat you. Never said that. Well, he's cheating you, Ike. Hey, Jason, good to see you. Craig, Tech by far better chance. Jerry Jones can't keep from screwing with things long enough for the franchise to develop. Chris, the NFC is the weakest it's been. Best opportunity for the Cowboys may have to win the NFC. I agree. Kind of felt the same way last year. Mike McCarthy football is average football. No, 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 no. It's much better now because when he laid out before coming back to the Cowboys, he went to school and he learned all about math and statistics and probability and analytics, and he's an analytic guy now. He's an analytical genius. You guys get on that supermarkets text line, the United Supermarkets text line, 806-772-0197. Yeah, itchy nose today. So when they play OU, will they both be cheated and end up in a tie? Absolutely. Name the last commissioner that did not kiss UT's backside. You can't. All the way back to Fred Jacoby. Hello, Alan. Glad you're watching. By the way, everybody watching, you can share on Twitter, you can share on YouTube, and you can share on Facebook. Invite people in. I hope you guys do that. We really appreciate it. We'll go, I don't know how long today. Either or question today. What is more likely, either the Cowboys in the Super Bowl or Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship? Yeah, sorry about the math talk there, Michael. I apologize on that. When Detroit's being talked about, it says all you need to know about the state of the NFC. Yeah. Yep. There you go. And then the ACC, just painful to watch right now. I keep hearing they're right there on the verge. The same people that told me that nobody was coming to the Big 12 and that nothing was going to happen with the Big 10 are the same people telling me it's going to happen now with the ACC. Forgive me if until it happens, I don't believe it. Because I still don't see the upside for the ACC. It didn't, again, I dismissed the 72 million number because I think that would not be predicated, which is one reason why you're hearing that SMU is saying they won't take any money, because they know that they're not bringing in any money, that it's not going to go up. $3 million per year per team in the ACC gets sucked off right off the bat if you've got to have the travel. Doesn't work. Yeah, the ACC will be picked apart by the Big Ten but in very collegially in an alliance-like manner. By the way, cheers to the 2-year anniversary of the announcement of the alliance. Andrew Haney give up a home run. Not good. At least the Astros game wrapped up for you to recount all 17 runs by the Boston Red Sox. Didn't know the ACC was still a thing. Trying to be one. Yeah, happy Alliance Day to everybody. The Alliance did some great things for college athletics. Beautiful, great things. I just still don't see where it gets the ACC any further down the road of being able to hold on to Florida State and Clemson at the end of the day in North Carolina. And at the end of the day, they're not going to, and that's going to be the end of it. So it doesn't matter. How many conferences will we end up with when it's all said and done? 0. You'll have 0 athletic conferences the way you have grown up with them and understand them, John. You will have a breakaway of football that'll look exactly like the NFL. Then colleges will break out basketball, and they'll play in groupings regionally of basketball. They'll play in groupings regionally of baseball. Even smaller groupings in tennis and in golf or whatever volleyball you want to say. Yeah, bye-bye NCAA. Now, the NCAA will try to exist with the very lower levels. The highest level they'll probably adjudicate will be where LCU is at, Lubbock Christian. Maybe WT. Maybe that level stays in as the highest level. We'll see. The death knell to the NCAA will be when football breaks away and those schools also realize, we can control the basketball tournament too. In the NCAA basketball tournament, I need to double check on when the contract runs out for that tournament, TV wise, because that's it. That's what funds the NCAA. when they break away the basketball, everybody talks about football killing the NCAA. It's going to be the football playing schools going, we can do our own little 60-14 basketball tournament. That's not hard. You know, it's not hard to do. There will be 8 regional divisions, look like the old conferences we had before 90. Yeah, in a way, it will be a throwback to the regionalization of not called conferences, but divisions. And they'll play to divisional championships regionally and play to a playoff and play to a championship. What happens to women's basketball and other women's sports? They'll continue on. The lower levels don't have hardly any funding anyways. That's not going to change. I'm talking lower level schools. The major schools will still have their money come in, and they'll still provide opportunities under Title IX for women's athletics. At the major schools, nothing much will fundamentally change. In fact, some of it will be streamlined. It will actually help, in my opinion, and not just women's sports. And I know what you're doing there, but in anything other than football and men's basketball. Men's golf doesn't have any money. Volleyball, men's track, they don't got no money. Men's soccer, where it exists, they ain't got no money. When you consolidate the travel and get away with this stupid idea now, insipidly stupid idea in 2024, that all of your teams have to play in the same conference. You don't have to. We'll actually make it better for those schools. It'll be better for baseball. We ought not to have to be traveling all over God's country to play West Virginia in a conference game, UCF or whatever, even BYU. That if you told me right now you were going to take a baseball conference, baseball only, think about what you wouldn't even have to leave the state of Texas to have a great one. And we could throw in Oklahoma and Oklahoma State if we wanted to. Wichita State back in the day would have made the cut, maybe not now. You get the idea. You see where it goes. Will players always be required to take classes? No, eventually I can foresee a format, Ryan, where universities realize that sports is merely an advertising tool for the university, that there may be some sort of loose alignment, that a player is a student, is majoring in sports or whatever. You can major in music. If I can major in music, why can't I major in football? I don't know. Well, that's an awful thing for Corey Seager to do, and sadly, that ball cannot be buried in a Jewish cemetery now because it's been tattooed. Thank you, Jim Brockmeyer. Yeah, do I think players will always be required to take classes? No, I don't. I think 20, 30 years from now, we could easily see scenarios, maybe even not that long, where you can if you want to, but really the school just sponsors the sports team. But they work for the school. They're employees of the school. Cap Rock tournament brings in 100 teams. What was that? Where are we? Dang it. Where'd that go? Cap Rock tournament brings in 100 teams. We can run that tournament too. Yeah. You guys can handle it. All major college sports will be the G leagues for the pros. It already is for the most part. NFL has been smart for years. They didn't ever have to have a minor league system. Basketball is just now starting it because they realize they can monetize it and make money off it, but for years they didn't have to. Well, the players still only have 4 years of eligibility. I think you'll probably have 5, whatever, 4 or 5. Right now it takes kids, if we're still trying to wet it to the academic side, it takes a lot of kids 5 years anyways to get a college degree because you can't get the classes you need, jicked up like that. Dallas Baptist getting to play in a Texas-only baseball conference would be a nightmare for TCU. Interesting. You guys can chime in on the text line brought to you by United Supermarkets. We hope you do. 806-772-0197. Multiple ways to get a hold of us here on the text line from United Supermarkets, Facebook Live, Twitter, all that stuff. Any way you want, you can make it happen. Got you for a few more minutes. The UT Pearl clutching has been beautiful to watch today. Media members, some of them, expressing their outrage over how a commissioner could actually say what Brett Yormark said. And then he pretty much immediately walked it back when he got into the one-on-one breakouts with the media, 15 minutes later, however long it was. But hey, I like the on-stage talking to the Tech fan base better. I like that. That That was better. Yormark knows what he's doing. Yeah. Texas officials know the score. Either or Thursday, what is more likely? Either Texas Tech plays in the Big 12 title game this year or the Dallas Cowboys play in the Super Bowl. That's either or Thursday. Got to make the tough choices. And then the ACC, the desperation dance of the ACC, which still, every day that they don't add any teams, makes me think they're just going to end up not being able to add any teams. They still have to sway a vote. I keep hearing, well, there's momentum. These are the same people that were telling me that the Big 12 wasn't going to get anybody from the Pac-12 and, the drill there. John, let's blame NIL for all the changes. With all the money the conferences are being paid, my cable bill will go up. Yeah, NIL got nothing to do with any of that. With all the money the conferences are being paid, my cable bill will go up. Yeah, maybe. You guys have been paying the freight for years. Where do you think the money's come from? Where do you think the money's come from for the last 25, 30 years? I mean, this really began in 1997 with the creation of what we would go back and call the BCS. There had been slow and steady growth from the late 80s into the mid 90s. But you go back and you look at 1990, Spike Dykes signs a 10-year deal. He becomes the first $1 million coach at Texas Tech. 10-year deal, $100,000 a year, $1 million coach. I mean, this was back when college coaches, a lot of them weren't making that much more than your high-paid high school coaches in some places. A little bit, but not a whole lot. It wasn't this huge gap. Texas Tech budget in the early 90s, final days of the Southwest Conference, going into the Big 12, and I'm ballparking here, about $10 million. $10 million for the budget. Early mid-90s. Maybe a little bit more. Say low teens. BCS comes around in 96, 97, the hyper money begins rolling in. That's when they begin to figure this thing out. That's also when the retrofit of stadiums begin, and you saw the explosion in the college ranks of monetizing all the revenue streams that were possible the way the pros had done in the 1980s. There was a lag effect of about a decade or so. I'm talking personal seat licenses. I'm talking just expanded ticket pricing levels. I'm talking charging you for parking and then charging you more for parking. I'm talking point systems and your donor clubs, your Red Raider clubs and everything else, that if you want this, if you want that, you got to donate more, you got to raise the money. But it was the TV that was beginning to just go hyperbolic. Now that could only go for a while, and it lasted a lot longer than I think anybody within the industry really expected on the continued rise. Now, it's interesting that if you go back over the last 20 years, you've seen overall in college athletics a decline in actual physical attendance at the games while everybody's staying home in their man cave or going to their sports bar and watching it right there. But the leap from 97 to 07, 07 to 17, 17 to now is just amazing to watch in the hyper money that is there. And you can't put the genie back in the bottle. And I don't see anybody on those college campuses trying to do it. I don't see anybody's. Now I will hear them bemoan the loss of rivalries and collegiality. And what are we here? Ain't nobody giving back their salary, are they? Ain't nobody saying, we don't have to have 90,000 seat stadiums. We don't have to have luxury suites. We don't have to do this. The people in charge can stop it if they want. They don't have to do it. They love that money, though. And the university presidents, they love it too. They're just as addicted to it. And now that they know that they've got that stream of it, it's not going to change. Nothing's going to change on that. So, been fascinating to watch from my standpoint. Chris says it's amazing. As recently as 15 years ago, there were Tech football games that weren't televised. Yeah, probably 10 years ago. I bet we could go back 10 years maybe and find some that were not televised. And now, basically every baseball game is televised. That you've gone from not being able to get every football game, that now you can get every baseball game. You basically, I think you can get almost every Tech soccer game. That may not be factual, but it sounds good. Go with it. You can almost watch every Tech soccer game or volleyball match, Lady Raider basketball. It is amazing. All right, final few minutes. Either or Thursday, what is more likely in your opinion? Either Tech football plays in the Big 12 title game or the Dallas Cowboys go to the Super Bowl. The Pro Clutching of Texas, bring it on. Yeah, full year. Give it to me. I want to watch it. Now, OU, they're not going to whine because OU, they keep their mouths shut and their wallet open. They know the drill. They got it. They're good with it. They're fine. OU's cool with it. I think what you're seeing is that Texas fans, some of them, and some of the media that carry the water for them, are slowly kind of picking up on the idea of, holy crap, we've given away the ability to control a conference, and we're going to a conference that we're not going to be able to control. It's going to be hard for them to adjust. Some of them never will. Sadly, some of them will not be able to. So what we're going to see now for the next year, this coming year, you're going to see the anger part, the denial. They're going to deny that any of this could be happening, but then the anger is going to set in. The anger will set in. You should listen on broadcast.com. There you go, Mark Cuban. I wish this much effort was put into pitching washers. Yep. I remember being able in the early days of broadcast.com, go home after a Lady Raider game, fire up my big old computer set up at my computer desk, and I could go back and listen to the replay and go, ooh, I said that? I probably shouldn't have said that. Crap. They can replay this stuff now? I got to clean up my act a little bit. That's about 96, maybe 95, 96, 96, 97, somewhere in through there. I'd have to go back. I do remember the first time we were playing an international team in an exhibition game, and that I was told, you're going to have to do your best on the names because the parents and the families, and I want to say it was like the Bulgarian national team or something, some team with just impossible names to pronounce, that you're going to have to do, you can't do what you normally do, Hyatt, which what I normally did in those situations is I would say the name of the player one time as close as I could get to the eye chart that was their roster, and then I would give them an Americanized name like Betty, Emily, Karen, something like that. But I was told, no, they're listening on ASRN.com, All Sports Radio Network. They're listening on ASRN.com back home. You're going to have to do your best on the names. Good Lord. I'd give anything to go back and hear that. Thankfully, Tech won like 500-2 or something that night, but still listening on what? They're what? They're listening in the where? Budapest. Well, all right, we'll give it our best shot. You guys are fun tonight. We appreciate it. Friday, most Texan thing you've done. No daily broadcast tomorrow. We'll be on the road. High school football getting going for real tomorrow night. So this will be the last broadcast for this week. We'll be back with you this weekend. Who knows? We might jump on sometime this weekend. Might have a little chat for you or something. We'll have 5 things we know on a Sunday, and we'll have some more content for you. But don't worry, we'll have our column tomorrow where you can weigh in and tell us the most Texan thing that you have done this week. We thank United Supermarkets being a great part of TheRaiderland.com and everything we do. As always, we thank you, Chris. We thank you guys for sharing this, putting it out there as we come to you from the Arctic Air Studios. We got to say goodbye to Twitter and the YouTube channel first. Thank you, guys. We appreciate you being on here. Are they gone yet? It says end the broadcast. I'm trying to end the broadcast.